Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you my diary entry for the week of January 29th through February 4th. Today is Saturday, February 4th, and this week has been okay. I did have a business meeting on Tuesday, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. It was weird. But I did get through some reading this week, not too much. Been kind of a slow reading week. I have a little bit of knitting, and that's pretty much it. Not such an adventurous week, or eventful week, I should say. But let's get started into what I have finished reading this week. So I finished volumes 23, 24, and 25 of Blue Exorcist by Kazue Kato. This one is published by Viz Rated Older Teen. So this is volume 23, volume 24, and volume 25. So I actually have a couple more volumes of this in my library, but my daughter, like I had mentioned to you last week, read through our 11 volumes that we had left to read on our shelves. And so she is currently up to date, but she advised me to stop after volume 25 because I hate having to wait for volumes to come out. And so if I am like in the middle of an arc and I have to wait for the next volume to come out, that's a situation that I absolutely hate. That is why most of the time when I read things and read series, I wait until I have a good amount of it and then I will read it. Most of the time, I will wait until I have the entirety of it, and then I will read it, so that I avoid that situation. But she told me to stop at volume 25, so that is what I did. This story follows Rin Okamura and his brother Yukio. At the beginning of this series, they're being taken care of by a man named Father Fujimoto, who is actually this man here on the cover. Things happen, and Satan ends up killing Father Fujimoto. When this happens, Rin and Yukio find out that they are sons of Satan, and Rin makes it his mission to vanquish Satan. So he enrolls in a school for exorcists and starts learning how to get to the point where he can do what he wants to do. And that's kind of where our story starts. Obviously, where I'm at, things have happened. Like, lots of things have happened. I would say that Rin's objective has not changed, but getting there has been an ordeal. And we're still not there. But this arc is the ending, kind of. I would say it's kind of like at a dip where Rin has finally kind of found out about the circumstances around his and Yukio's birth. And so he's finding out about Father Fujimoto when he was younger. He's finding out about his mother and how his mother and Satan knew each other and some of the things that were happening in the school of exorcists at the time and things like that. I think that's vague enough where I'm not really giving any spoilers. I will say that this whole arc with Rin finding out about the circumstances of his birth, him and Yukio's, I don't know that I personally needed to know that. It doesn't seem to be information that I would need to know in order to propel this story along. That's probably just a personal feeling. I could have probably done without knowing the origins of Rin and Yukio's birth and how all of that happened. How his mother knew Satan and how his mother met Father Fujimoto for the first time and things like that. I don't know why it was important for us to know that. So I think that's part of my like confusion with why we're being told this. There's a good possibility that in future volumes, as this arc progresses, that it will become vital information. It feels like that's where this is going, But where I am right now, it feels like unnecessary information, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I still enjoyed it. The art style is very interesting, always. And, I suppose the information about Father Fujimoto in his younger days and growing up and, Ren's mom and things like that was interesting. But again, I don't know where that holds importance to what Rin and Yukio are going to do going forward from here. So, yeah. And like I told you, the previous 2 volumes or so, I was really, really fed up with Yukio. He's still a little on my nerves, but we don't see him much in these 3 volumes. But, yeah. I still really enjoy the series. I'm looking forward to continuing. I'm going to leave it to my daughter to tell me when it's safe to continue. I have a feeling it's not going to be for a while, though, which is a little bit upsetting. These volumes, especially volume 25, got super thick. I believe volume 26 is not as thick, but it's still thicker than, say, volume 24. But we will continue to collect, and my daughter will continue to read this series on the Shonen Jump app until the volumes come out. And I think I'm just going to wait. So as of right now, this is on hold for me, but it's definitely a series that I want to get back to as soon as I am able to, because it is a very interesting series. I highly recommend this series. I highly recommend both animes as well. And yeah, so I quite enjoyed those. I ended up giving all of these 4 stars. So yeah. The last thing that I finished this week was Greywalker by Kat Richardson. This is the first book in the Greywalker series. I started reading this last October, I think. This was a reread for me. I actually read it 10 years ago. This is about a woman named Harper. She is a private investigator, and at the beginning of this book, she gets into an altercation with someone connected to one of her clients and ends up getting hurt so bad that she dies for like 2 minutes. When she comes to, she is able to see things out of the corner of her eye, hear things that are coming from nowhere. She's also able to step into this realm of gray. And as she's going through this, she ends up being referred to somebody or some people who are able to help her navigate what has happened to her. So basically, because she had died, when she came back, she has the ability to not only live in the current mortal realm, but she's also able to step into the realm of the gray, or sometimes accidentally slip in. I would say at the beginning she accidentally slips in because she doesn't know what her abilities are now. And it really is something that she is not enjoying. It's pretty scary there. There are things that want to kill her and, things like that. It's very dangerous in the gray. And so she wants to avoid that if at all possible. And so when she's learning about all of these things that, she can now interact with, she's just like, no, 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 no. On the other hand, she's still operating as a private investigator. So in this book, she is working 2 separate cases. One case of a woman who's looking for her college-age son who has seemed to have gone missing. And then another where a man has come to her to try to locate an old family heirloom. And so, yeah, this particular installment kind of navigates all 3 of those things. Her trying to figure out what her abilities are and come to terms with the fact that this is now part of her life, and then working these 2 cases. So like I said, this was a reread for me. I first read it 10 years ago, so 2013. When I first read this book, I listened to the entire thing on audiobook, and I thought I gave it 4 stars then. I can't really tell because I had updated my star rating. This is now a 3-star read for me. So I did not enjoy this as much as I did the last time. It might be because of just how I was feeling. Like I said, I had the biggest slump of my life reading slump of my life, I think, last year. And I think when I had started this, I was just starting to come out of that, maybe. I can't remember. Everything is like gray. But this didn't hit the same way as when I read it the first time. And again, it might be because the first time I listened to it on audiobook, but it might also be because it was 10 years ago and maybe my reading tastes have changed. I don't know. That is something that I'm struggling with at the moment because I don't think I know what my reading tastes are right now. I spent a few years trying to stay in one lane and then feeling like I was obligated to stay in that lane, if you know what I mean. Again, this is all in my head. I all of things that I was feeling, but I kind of felt like I was obligated to stay in a certain like reading genre. And then I've spent a little bit of time now trying to branch out and read other things, and that hasn't worked out for me so well. So I think that's why I kind of went back to this book, because I remembered enjoying it. And I collected a few copies from like library book sales and used bookstores, and this just didn't hit the mark for me again this time. I found that Harper was very, very irritating. And again, this might just be because I'm 10 years older now, but I found her to be irritating. She was very whiny. She couldn't come to terms with the fact that, you know, she has all of these abilities now and things can start to come after her, even if she would rather ignore them. She just doesn't want to deal with it and was very, very, like, childish about it. And I didn't enjoy that. I think now where we are at the end of this book, though, things should be much better. Now, I did also read the second book. I think shortly after I read this one, so it's got to be 10 years or maybe a little bit less. But I listened to that one as well. Now, I don't remember that one as much as I remembered what happened in this one, so it'll be interesting to read that one. But do I want to jump into that one right away? Probably not. Like I said, this one took me a long time to get through, and I put it on the side for a long time, not thinking about it. I pretty much just picked this one up because I had nothing else to read. It was the end of the month, and I just wanted to get it off of my to-read list, or my currently reading list on Goodreads, and so I did. And so, yeah, it was okay. Like I said, I thought I gave this one 4 stars. If I did, the rating has gone down to 3. If I didn't, it has remained a 3. But I'm still going to continue because, like I said, I have like 5 or 6 of them. So I want to, now that she's not so whiny anymore, continue and see what happens in the next one. I vaguely remember something happening in the second one, but I don't quite remember anything else that happened. So I will eventually get to the next one, but yeah, this one was just okay for me. 3 stars. So I just finished that one this morning. And as of right now, I am not currently reading anything. So this is that time of the month where it's just like, okay, none of the things that I've pulled to read for the month with my TBR game are really calling to me, except the manga. Like, I want to pick up Bleach. Should I start my month off with Bleach, though? Because if I go down that road, I foresee myself just sticking to that and not reading the books that I need to read. And I do still want to maintain, you know, at least 4 books a month, if not 5. That's my typical amount of books, novels to read. And so, yeah, I'm struggling with that feeling. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, this year, you know, you're going to go with what you're enjoying. And right now, I'm really enjoying my manga. And so, yeah, I typically only read right before bed and during my lunch breaks. I listen to an audiobook during my lunch breaks during work, and then I read a little bit before I go to bed. Actually, that being said, I am listening to an audiobook, but I'm not going to talk about it a lot because of social views on said book. So I am listening to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. But it's a reread for me, and I'm just like listening during my lunch break. So that's pretty much all there is. I should be finished with that soon though, so I'll need to pick up another audiobook. And I'm just having that feeling where I don't know what I'm feeling like. I don't know what I feel like reading. And I don't think that the Suki Stackhouse book has an audiobook available for me. I'll need to look into that. But yeah, I'm just kind of going with the flow. It hasn't been a reading heavy week for me. Reading is not the thing that I'm gravitating towards. I'm gravitating towards video games. And so, yeah. I did get through some stuff this week, so that's great. Ended out the month of January pretty good. Started off the month of February not so good, but, you know, we are where we are. I read these in January. So 29th, 30th, 31st were these 3 volumes. And then it took me all of the days of February up until current to finish this. And I only had like less than 100 pages. So that tells you something about that too, right? So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for you as far as reading goes at the moment. So hopefully I'll have some things to talk to you about next week. But I've also done a little bit of knitting. So I didn't go back to my Advent sweater, but I have been working on my books of the year blanket. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Or my 2023 reads blanket. I don't know. If you have a catchy name, let me know down in the comments below. I don't know what I'm going to call this right now. But I've done quite a bit. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 books in right now out of 19. So you can see that this is going to take me a while. So, like I said, Yoa Pedal, Christmas Murder Game, Dark Fever, Heaven Official's Blessing, Dinosaur Sanctuary, Tomb Raider, Sailor Moon. This is Demon Slayer 13, and I'm putting in Demon Slayer 14. So, okay so far. I've got about half, not quite half, of the books that I've read, because I actually read 19 things, including the DNF. And so, yeah, I'm just working slowly. It's very colorful. I decided that instead of weaving in my ends like I did here, I was just going to be lazy and start to knot everything together. So I am using a magic knot. This is the back. I mean, I'm not too concerned with that. You can see some of them are really tiny. I'm probably going to snip these to about this length. But I'm not too concerned about the knots. I just need to make sure that they're sitting in the back and not in the front. So, yeah, it's okay. I am just knitting, 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 turn, turn, turn. And so I think after this volume of Demon Slayer, I'll probably put in 1 or 2 more sections, and then this should be long enough to start the next panel on this side. So yeah, I measured it last night, and where I was here at the end of here, it was almost 4 feet. So I want it to be 5 feet. So yeah, that's where I am with that, and that's pretty much everything I've done this week. It hasn't been eventful. Like I said, I did have a business meeting. My coworker was supposed to also come, but she's not been feeling well, and so she opted to not come to the meeting. So it was me and my boss, and then 5 other guys. So I was the only woman in the room, and it was very, very uncomfortable. Plus, This was supposed to be something to like help me work with this other company. And the representative from that company didn't seem to be interested in talking to me. He wouldn't make eye contact with me at all. He only made eye contact with the men. And yeah, I wasn't too happy. And it was very uncomfortable. I was the youngest person in the room, so that was also uncomfortable. But yeah, took several hours out of my workday, which was not good. My workday actually ended up being really long that day. I put in like 3 hours of overtime that day because just things needed to get done. It was not a good week. So that's something that I'm trying to work on this year, is not putting in so many overtime hours, because I don't get paid for them. I get paid a set flat salary regardless of how many hours I work. So I'm trying not to work so much. My father was the worst about doing that. He would work long hours. He would bring his work home. He'd have homework. It's like he was always working, even on the weekends. And that's something that I had always told myself I'm never going to do. And then I'm finding that in my adult life that I am doing that, and it's very difficult for me to say stop. Especially now, it's even harder because I'm working from home. Because I'm like, oh, I'm home, say my mom's at work, and so I'll just work a little bit longer because she won't be home, and so I'll just get a little bit more done. I need to stop that. I need to stop that. I need to make sure that I'm not working so many overtime hours. And so, yes, that's definitely something I want to work on, is not working as many hours as I do. And also just learning to let things go. DNF more. If I'm not feeling it, DNF it. I probably should have DNF'd this. But, like I said, there was less than 100 pages. So I was like, I don't know why it's so hard for me, but it is. But anyway, that's everything that I've done this week. It's been uneventful, not very many reads, not very much knitting at all. But, sometimes there are weeks like this. So let me know down in the comments below if you ended up finishing January out with a great read, or what your best and worst reads of the month were. I will let you know that we are getting ready to announce March Mystery Madness 2023. I have been a host for that for several years, almost all of the years that it's been in existence. So keep an eye out for announcements for March Mystery Madness coming on Friday, February 10th. So that's pretty exciting. That has just added a whole nother level of stress, though, if I'm honest. But yeah, announcements for March Mystery Madness coming February 10th. Let me know if you plan on participating. If you don't know what March Mystery Madness is, it is a month-long reading event where we promote the reading of mysteries throughout the month of March. So it's a great time. The only thing that you really need to do is read a mystery in the month of March to participate. That's it. We do have some prompts and a theme this year, as we always do, but you are not obligated to read to the theme or use the prompts at all. You can just read mysteries along with us. And I have all of the March Mystery Madness links down in the description box below to our Discord, our Twitter, our Instagram, in case you're interested or you have any questions or would like to chat with some other mystery readers. Definitely go check those links out down in the description box below. And that'll pretty much do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.